Who's up for a drinking song? I'm Rebecca, and I'm teaching myself how to play the violin again after walking away from it 25 years ago. In this video, we will talk about Brindisi, the drinking song from La Traviata. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and if you stick around until the very end, I will share some words of wisdom from my violin teachers. All right, so let's see what it sounds like. Let's listen to a very short clip of the drinking song Brindisi from La Traviata. This is the Glyndebourne Opera House with the London Philharmonic. Let's give it a listen. This is a Gatsby party, very fancy. Violetta, the most famous courtesan in town, has been ill. She's getting better. She's throwing a huge party just because she's feeling better. All the men in town are there. All right. We'll drink from beauty's cup. That's his opening line. Drown the fleeting hour in pleasure. Okay. Sounds good. We'll do what? All right. Inspired by a passing glance. So be it. All right. All right. Gonna have to stop you there, dude, because I'm afraid you're gonna end up disappointed. It's not a spoiler alert, you know, it's opera. Okay, so having heard a really exuberant rendition of the song, I feel better equipped to approach it on my violin. It's worth mentioning, by the way, that my teachers would have absolutely hated this. They absolutely did not want us listening to anything that we played, no matter how good it was, because the philosophy was that you looked into the score and reached into it for the soul and developed it yourself with your own inspiration, your own interpretation, and you were to never ever see or heard it played if possible. So with that, let's take a crack at this song. But first, I need to change out of this. There is no way I can do any work when I'm dressed like this. Okay, so this is more like it. It's a whole lot easier to work like this. So let's take a crack at this and see what we're starting with on Brindisi. Try it again. It's okay, but it could be a whole lot better. And here's the hidden challenge. On its face, it doesn't look that hard, but the challenge of this piece is going to be position play. And what we mean by position play is you've got positions: first, third, fifth. Now those are easy because those are 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3. And you can learn this pretty easily. But this whole thing is done in the big gray area of the violin, which is the even numbered positions, second, fourth. So it's like first, second, fourth. And honestly, I was never very good at this, but this song, while it appears to be very, very simple, is a huge challenge in even numbered position play. So I've got my work cut out for me. All right, so with that, I'm gonna spend the next week working at my scales, working at my arpeggios, getting a better sense of where those positions are, because really the position is just so much like the language in which you play. And this is kind of a wonky key for position play. Of course, I guess you could argue that all the keys are wonky, but I'm going to spend the next week, I'm going to spend a few days and see what I come up with at the end of the week, and we'll see how it comes out. All right, so I'll ask, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to follow along with this series or see the accompanying essays that are going along with this series, there's a link down in the links to my newsletter, and I'd love to have you along. Also, if you sign up, you will get a less than motivational quotation, an illustrated quotation from Beethoven. So I guess that brings us to our words of wisdom from my violin teachers, and I know exactly what they would say. They would look at this whole setup and look at this video, and they would say one thing to me, which is never dress until it's showtime. So with that, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you again soon.